Recently, I have been rereading some of my favorite books. I reread The Selection, Fourth Wing, The Inheritance Games, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, a lot of Emily Henry books, and I have been having a wonderful time. So, along that lines, here are some books that I would like to reread. Now don't laugh, but I would like to reread Girl Online by Zoe Suggs. I don't care if it's cringe, but I read this book in middle school, and because of this book, my imaginary boyfriend was called Noah Flynn. This book follows Penny, who has a secret online blog that gets a little bit popular. She travels with her family to New York City where she meets Noah Flynn, who is a very famous musician, and they start to get to know each other. I just think it would be fun to see what I think about it now, since many years have passed and I have read many books since I read this one the first time. Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is a prequel to the original Hunger Games trilogy. In this book, you are following Haymitch in his games, which happens to be the 50th Hunger Games, or the second quarter quell. Now, in this universe, in Panem, they like to do something extra special for those big, monumental games. And in this one in particular, they decided that they're going to reap twice as many kids from each district. Now, I know it has been less than a year since I read this, and I know that I bawled my eyes out in public when I read it. However, I feel like I don't remember a lot of the detail in this book, and the movie version of this actually comes out around Thanksgiving of this year, so I would love to reread it, refresh my memory, get back into this world before I go see the movie. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is a part of her Hollywood series, which is a blend between historical fiction and literary fiction. Now, Evelyn Hugo clawed her way to the top during her Hollywood career. Many years later, she has decided that she is going to tell the story of her life, the things that people want to hear, specifically about the 7 husbands that she has had in her life. I read this book in 2022, which was the year that I got back into reading. When I read this book, I had been reading for maybe like 2 months. I was a different reader back then. Taylor Jenkins Reid writes very flawed characters. I didn't want that. I wanted a clear-cut hero and villain and happily ever after for everyone. You would not have caught me reading a literary fiction and actually enjoying reading it. But since I read this book, I have read Carrie Soto Is Back, also by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and consider it to be one of my favorite books of all time. So I would be interested to go back and reread this book and see how my opinion on it has changed, you know, as I have matured as a reader, as a person, and I've read many books since I read this. It would be interesting to see how my opinion, how my thoughts have changed on it. Now, along those same lines, I want to reread Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. I read it when I was a newbie baby reader, didn't really enjoy it. However, the movie of this book is one of my comfort movies. I could watch it all day, every day. So theoretically, since I love the movie, I should also at least enjoy reading the book. But also, I do want to continue the series, which I would not be able to do if I don't reread this book first. Lightlark by Alex Astor. Now, this book is a YA fantasy that was heavily marketed on TikTok as being very similar to the Hunger Games, but in more of a fantastical sense, in more of a magic sense. There was a huge big scandal when this book actually came out and people started reading it and realizing it really wasn't all that it was made out to be. I was one of those people. However, this book has now been out for several years and there are 3 more books in this series, potentially a 4th one. And for some reason, I am just intrigued, so intrigued that I added Nightbane, the 2nd book in this series, to my 2026 TBR. I don't know why, but if I want to read that, I think I have to reread this book first. Now, this next one is a series, specifically the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. My first ever reading vlog was me trying to read this entire 6-book series in 24 hours. I didn't make it. However, in total, I have read 7 of Cassandra Clare's books that take place in the overall Shadowhunters universe that this series takes place in, and I have not enjoyed a single one of them. However, I am an extreme anomaly. The amount of people who love the Shadowhunters universe, who love the Mortal Instruments series is kind of crazy. There are so many booktubers, book content creators that I watch that absolutely adore the Mortal Instruments series, and then about 2 years ago I made a video reading one of my friend's favorite books, which was Clockwork Angel, the first book in the Infernal Devices series, also taking place in this universe, in this magic system. And I hated that too. Clearly something must be wrong with me that I do not enjoy this series that everybody else and their mother loves to death. Maybe if I reread it, I could figure out why people adore this series so much. Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is the first book in the Letters of Enchantment series, but I don't need to reread Ruthless Vows, the second book. But Divine Rivals is so good. It's so magical, so beautiful. The writing that Rebecca Ross uses in this story is just some of the most beautiful writing I personally have ever read. The setting, the plot, the characters, it is all so incredibly captivating. I love Iris and I love Roman, the two main characters, and I could read about them every day. And lastly, we have the River of Time series by Lisa T. Berggren. This is a YA fantasy series following two sisters who go to Italy because their mom is an archaeologist, and they are on her newest archaeology dig site. In the ruins, they find a portal that transports them back into medieval Italy. And there, of course, just so happens to be some really hot knights who are just ready and waiting to fall in love with these girls. I swoon every time I think about it. I just loved it. I had such a good time reading it, and I would love to buy the books to have on my shelf, and so I think I'll read them when I buy them. You know, reread a book that I've already read when I have like 90 books on my shelf that I haven't read. Anyways, those are some books on my radar that I would like to reread. Some because I really enjoyed them, and some because I didn't enjoy them so much, but think I could potentially enjoy them upon a reread. But if I do end up rereading these books, I will definitely let you know my thoughts on it. Anyways, guys, that is all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know that you enjoy this type of content. Comment down below any books that you want to reread, and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content in the future. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!